Question number 2 wants us to write 8,512 in scientific notation. And this is exactly what we're going to do. Now, scientific notation is in the form, I'm going to abbreviate it, SCINOT, of A times 10 to the power of n, where the absolute value of A is a value that's between 1 and 10. This does not include 10. And n is an integer. Which is a positive or negative number, which includes 0 as well, that is in the form of a whole number. So this is how we're going to approach scientific notation. Let's take my number, 8,512. This is a whole number. All whole numbers have a decimal, whether if it is visible or invisible. The decimal here is invisible because there is an invisible decimal right here behind the 2. Okay, that is our original decimal. What we're going to do is we're going to place a new decimal onto the number. And we're going to place the new decimal in between 2 values, such that when I place my new decimal between the 2 numbers here, the number will be a number between 1 and 10, not including 10. So 8,512, I'm going to place my decimal between the 8 and the 5. Because once I do that, that number now becomes 8.512. And that's going to be considered the A of my scientific notation. And 8.512 is a number between 1 and 10. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my new decimal and I'm going to move it n number of units in the left or right direction until I reach the original decimal. And the original decimal is in a number up here, 8,512. So take my new decimal that I placed here between the 8 and the 5, and I'm going to move that 3 units to the right. And when I move my decimal 3 units to the right, I'm back up to my original number. And the way I move my decimal and the number of times I move my decimal will indicate the n, which is the exponent on my 10. So because I move 3 to the right, my n is going to be positive 3. If I move it to the left, so when I write this in scientific notation, that is going to be 8.512 times 10 to the 3rd power. And that is the solution. I'm going to give you guys a runoff example, just in case you may have this on the exam. Suppose your number was 0.0000318, right? And we want to write this in scientific notation. We're going to place our new decimal in between 2 numbers, and when I do that, that number will be between 1 and 10, not including 10. And I'm going to place my new decimal between the 3 and the 1, because when I do that, I now have 3.18, and the number is between 1 and 10. And I'm going to move that decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the left to reach the original. And that number of times I move the decimal will be the exponent on the base of 10. And because I moved it 5 to the left, my n will equal to negative 5. When I move left, that is going to be negative. So in scientific notation, I have 3.18 times 10 to the negative 5th power. And that is the solution if the number was written as follows. Alright guys, that is it for number 2, and that is it for the runoff question. Let's transition on to question number 3 and 4 in the next video. Adios, amigos.